Whoa! Got a bunch. Physical media today. I picked them up at a pawn shop slash flea market a couple weeks ago, and so I thought I got around to finally doing a nice little video. So I wanted to show off what I received or what I picked up. I think I spent about $25 total, including tax. Uh, and so I thought I did pretty good. Let me know what you all think below. It's a cornucopia of Blu-rays, DVDs, and steelbooks. Kind of like there's a box set in there as well. So for $25, I'll be your Huckleberry. First up is the Blu-ray steelbook of The Italian Job, which is a remake. You got Marky Mark in here with his Calvin Kleins, Charlize Theron, Edward Norton, Jason Statham, and Donald Sutherland. The back's kind of cool. And then the inside even has some kind of cool images on there with the movie itself. I know some people, I feel like, kind of like crap on this, but it's a good popcorn movie. I don't know. I really enjoy it. Next up was a movie I never even heard of, didn't know anything about. I got at the pawn shop for one schmeckel, $1. And that's A Gentleman's Agreement starring Gregory Peck. He goes undercover as a New York City journalist, trying to root out anti-Jewish, feelings or sentiment as pretending to be a Jew to do that. And this takes place, I'm assuming, like in the 50s. I would assume. I would assume it's the 50s. 1947. So there you go. So I knew it was like late 40s, early 50s. So I watched this. I watched the commentary actually of this, and very interesting. Now I will say that they were, very, what's the word I'm looking for? The guy who did the commentary on here, which was Richard Shekel, did a lot of most of the commentary as like kind of like talking head. There's a couple of the actresses that were in the movie. I think he was kind of stretching on a couple parts to try to make, make it connect with modern day, what's going on right now. I think that was a little bit of a stretch in some parts. But overall, I thought it was a really good and interesting topic. Investigative journalism kind of went away of the dodo. Now when people try to do investigative journalism and catch people with their pants down, it's considered like, no longer appropriate. Like, they want you to be lied to. It's kind of weird like that. But back then it was celebrated to catch people being who they really truly are and not what they're trying to pretend to be in the public eye. So it was interesting. Next up is a double feature on Blu-ray by Mill Creek, The Grand Duel, a.k.a. The Big Showdown, and Kilma with Franco Nero and Lee Van Cleef in The Grand Duel. This looks delightful on Blu-ray. I was surprised at how good this looked. Really, really impressed at how well this actually looked on Blu-ray on the TV. It looked like it was made just in the last couple of years. It was unbelievable. Next up, something that did not look good on Blu-ray, what looked actually awful, was Jackie Chan's First Strike. It's a bare bones nothing edition. I was hoping it would be an upgrade from a DVD, which I didn't have a DVD, but it would be upgrade DVD level. It wasn't. It looked awful. I mean, the Grand Duel that was made probably, 60, I don't know, 5 or 4 or whatever it was made, probably somewhere in the mid-60s, looked a million times better than Jackie Chan's First Strike, which was made probably like mid to late 90s, I would assume. 97 it says here. So yeah, this was definitely a disappointment, but I bought that. It was sealed when I bought it, so that was kind of cool. Next up, this thing looked awesome on Blu-ray. I could not believe how good this looked. I mean, it was so loud and you felt like you're in the middle of the war, and this was Troy. You got Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, Orlando Bloom, Diane Kruger, Brian Cox, Sean Bean, Brendan Gleeson, Peter O'Toole. A who's who. It's a Wolfgang Peterson joint. But again, I'm not really saying anything that you all don't know, but this movie looked great on Blu-ray on the TV with the surround sound. And again, I'm still getting used to the whole new setup. If you're new to my channel, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but for like years and years when I do movie reviews, I had like a little 32-inch, little flat screen Insignia TV, no surround sound, and that's how I watched my movie. I just was just accustomed to it. I never thought out like anything different, and then finally decided to upgrade to see what you have behind you here, or what behind me, with a surround sound, Samsung surround sound system with the Samsung TV, and I mean, I feel like I'm in a movie theater. So it's pretty awesome. So, anyways, this movie does wonders with that screen and that surround sound. Another movie that I feel like people kind of crapped on, maybe they were crapping on the 4K version. I'm not for sure, but when I watched this, I thought it looked really good. And again, maybe I just was so used to seeing it on a small screen and all that, and just maybe I wasn't as impressed. But I saw with the whole bells and whistles now is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Skynet edition of T2, the Judgment Day, of course. And there's a special code you can go online. I guess maybe you already know this, but there's two versions of the movie on here, but then there's a third, and I forgot what it's called, the Skynet Edition or something. And I went online and just said, well, what's this, the Skynet passcode for the T2 release? And it came up, it was like a 6-digit code. I put it in, and it unlocked a third edition of the movie, I guess. I don't really remember what was added to it, and I don't know if there was anything special. Maybe anybody who knows about this can leave comments below. But I got the third edition or whatever that was a hidden feature, unlocked it, and I watched that edition of the movie. And I didn't see anything that I was like, oh, I don't remember it here. Maybe there was a lot more character development scenes that I forgot that it was added back into it. But as far as like gore or special effects or I don't know, anything like that, I don't feel like there was much in the way of that. But anyways, this is really good. I love this movie, and it looked great on Blu-ray. Again, I saw it on a little TV, saw it on DVD, I think. I don't know if I even saw it on Blu-ray before, so there's that. I don't have a 4K player yet. I forgot I do have one 4K, but I went ahead and picked this up because I got it for $1, and it came with a slipcover. It is Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder. So this came actually with the slip, and so I was pretty pumped about that. It's just, I've no idea. There's no Blu-ray. It's just a 4K only with a supposed, I don't know if it's already been used, redeemable code for a digital. But for $1, yep, all day long. Next up, I did not have this on Blu-ray. I had it on DVD. It is also a slipcover, the Amazing Spider-Man, with Andrew Garfield making his brilliant return as the web slinger in the most recent Spider-Man. Whoops, spoiler alert, with Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. This was great. This is, I think, a 3-disc set, if I'm not mistaken. You have, 3 discs. So you have the Blu-ray, the DVD, and I think a special collector's edition or a special features disc. So anyways, this was it was like a Walmart because you could tell the sticker. But again, I got it for $1 or $2. So I'm always a big Marvel fan. So if I can find, I won't spend any money with Marvel or Disney because of their apparently now deciding to get into politics instead of just focusing on movies and social issues and social agendas. But when I can go find it for, at a pawn shop for $1, I'll do that all day long. So anyways, I picked that up. Next up was Taken 2. Shockingly, not as good as Taken 1. But again, slipcover, which, is a huge thing in the community, as most of you all know. Slipcovers are kind of hard to come by a lot of times. So again, I got this for $1. And it is uncut, and I watched this. I thought it looked good. It sounded good. Spider-Man was awesome in Blu-ray on the big screen with the surround sound. That was amazing. Like the movies that there's a movie I'm getting ready to get to that, I almost shat myself. It was so loud and just jarring. And I'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, Taken 2 was really good. Really, again, it's just an action movie. I know some people just well, it's not very highbrow. It's not any Godfather Part 2. But I'm like, dude, hour and a half, you keep me entertained. I'm excited. Another one I got for $1 because it came with a slipcover, and I never seen this version of it. I've seen a different version. This Halloween with the slipcover. Again, I've seen one with it's like Michael Myers' head on here. Exactly the same background on both. But when you open this up, there's this like a little white masked Michael Myers sitting here. So again, I know they made 1,000 variations of this stuff out there. But again, get it for $1 with the slipcover. That's a great image. It even has a little little glow there or something. You see a little knife. So All right, but this is the movie I was telling you about, man. This came with a slipcover Blu-ray. I watched this about 6, 7 years ago when it maybe first came out. This movie is so powerful, just the story itself, but also just everything about the movie, the music, the score, the special effects, the sound quality, the acting. Man, the acting was amazing. Fury, Brad Pitt. Who else is in this thing? You got John Bernal. I can't ever remember his name. You have is it John? Is that his name? You have John Bernthal, Jason Isaacs. You have Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, Logan Lehman. Scott Eastwood has a small part in here. I forgot he looked like his Clint Eastwood's son. But there's a couple other notable names you'll see pop up in there, or notable faces. Man, this movie, I forgot how good this movie was. I watched it, finished it last night. Oh my gosh, dude. I cannot confirm or deny that someone might have been cutting onions around me when I was watching this movie. This movie, and I don't know how much is true to real life, and I'm not getting into like historical aspects of it, but as far as art, as far as theatrical experience, as far as just the dialogue and the reality, I mean, you felt like these guys were like brothers. You feel like these guys will do anything, which they do. They sacrifice themselves for one another. I mean, it was powerful. It might be one of my favorite wartime movies. And it's crazy because it is very tunnel vision of what's going on here. Fury is one of 5 tanks that is now at the end, gasps of Nazi Germany that's holding on by a thread right before they finally give in and give up. And they're still fighting back against the Americans as their last, gasps of breath. And they're trying to finally snuff them out. And so they're like basically being ordered into these like harrowing situations where they are outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and trying to, free up enough space for them to continue to push forward for colonels or majors or whatever that are coming in behind them. So they're basically clearing a path. Man, it is a powerful movie. If you've not seen Fury, it is pretty powerful. Now I'm going to get to stuff I have not watched that I've seen before, but I've not watched yet since I picked it up. Tom Cruise and Valkyrie, another World War II movie. I've seen this multiple times. Love this movie. Never seen it on Blu-ray on the big screen or with the surround sound. So I don't know what that'll experience like. And it's not as much of a war movie like Fury is. It's more of like a suspense thriller with some war elements because obviously it takes place also in World War II. And so it's definitely will have some of that in there. But I'm looking forward to this. Again, this is a great movie. I really like this movie a lot. It's a story I never knew about. I had heard of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who's a Christian minister, and other, I think, ministers or other people of faith who tried to assassinate or take out Hitler. I've read his stories, and I read that book of his, the Bonhoeffer book, but I did not know about this story, which, again, very similar in trying to try to take out Adolf Hitler and the Nazis in general. But this was a great movie. I introduced it to my son this past year. He really enjoyed the movie a lot, which is my job as a father, try to educate him through storytelling that you might not see necessarily in today's modern public school system. So next up was a triple pack Blu-ray of The Goonies, Gremlins 1 and 2. Again, I have all these on either Blu-ray or DVD in some capacity, but get them all underneath one DVD or one Blu-ray set all day long. I think I got it for $2. So again, want to pick this up. I love Gremlins 2. It might be sacrilegious to say, but I like Gremlins 2 probably more than I like Gremlins 1. I don't know, is that a hot take? You all let me know. Of course, Goonies. I mean, I'm a child of the 80s, so all day long. Next up is the box set of Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is actually, this is a timely video because he just came back to wrestle Kevin Owens in WWE, which I did not watch, but I understand it happened. And I'm sure it was like a huge pop that he received for that. But I never was a big fan of the Attitude Era. I kind of was out of wrestling at that point watching it. But I go back now and watch it and actually enjoy it quite a bit and appreciate it for what it was. And I definitely like somebody like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was a character that like none other at the time. Now I feel like there's quite a few guys that try to be like him, like Kevin Owens a little bit. John Moxley is in that vein. There's a few others that kind of have that whole like, you know, I'm doing my own thing. I'm bucking the man or F the man kind of thing. And I'm this rebel rouser, beer drinking, party animal kind of, I can't be controlled. And that's kind of like what Stone Cold had done. Next up is a steelbook. Another, I forgot about this one. 2-disc set. I believe it's just a DVD of Die Hard, which also is kind of Tommy because apparently Bruce Willis has retired from acting based off of I don't want to use the word disease. I don't know if it's a disease or some sort of ailment, let's say, that he has started becoming more prominent in his life. So he has stepped away from acting. I know he's made like tons of crappy movies in the last, what feels like a decade. But I've always enjoyed his original run of movies that he did a whole bunch. Like, what did he? I loved all the Die Hard movies. I enjoyed him in. What's the one where they're like all called Hudson Hawk? I love Hudson Hawk. I liked him, and I mean he's into so much stuff. I can't now. I'm starting to like draw a blank, but I'm a big fan of Bruce Willis. I'll eventually get there. So next up is my second to last one is The Green Mile. This is a digibook that I picked up right here. And as you all may or may not know, a digibook is actually kind of like a book with, notes about the movie, like maybe liner notes, maybe some observations from the director, producer, writer, actors, and then with the disc itself. The Green Mile is such a good movie. Frank Darabont directed this, which I think he also did Shawshank Redemption. You have Michael Clark Duncan. You have, of course, Tom Hanks. Bonnie Hunt's in here. James Cromwell, Michael Jeter, Graham Greene. Sam Rockwell plays a awful character. You just hate this guy. He does such a good job of making you just like hate him because he's a real POS. Barry Pepper, Jeffrey DeMunn, which is great. Patricia Clarkson, Harry Dean Stanton. I mean, it's an all-star cast of people. I mean, there's not really much I can say that the Green Mile have not already been said, so I'm not going to belabor the point too much. But anyways, got this for, like I said, just a few bucks. And last but surely not least is a Leonardo DiCaprio still sealed double feature, which I have not seen The Aviator, but I have seen Shutter Island. I think that is a Martin Scorsese joint. So you have him there, and I guess he also is like Sir Ben Kingsley's in here, Mark Ruffalo, Michelle Williams, Emily Mortimer, Patricia Clarkson, and Max Van Sydow. It's pretty cool. So anyways, I like that movie. I know like kind of people kind of crapped on it. I thought it was very interesting. It's one of the maybe only horror movies that DiCaprio's ever done and Scorsese's ever directed. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't really think of anything else that like. I mean, I guess DiCaprio did Critters, whatever, 2 or 3. But you know what I mean. Like since he became Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think he's ever done a horror movie. And again, I could be wrong about that. And I don't think Scorsese's ever directed one. So this is, again, would it be considered horror? I don't know. Is it more of a thriller, suspense, mystery? Maybe. But it definitely has a horrific overtones or overtures. So there you go, guys. Pick that up. Again, still sealed. So I hope you all enjoyed I'm going to kind of showcase this. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to doing this more often with maybe my setup. Or maybe you'll start seeing behind me here. There'll be some, I'll change the setup. If you looked underneath, if I pull this video, the top down here, you would see like all kinds of DVDs and Blu-rays and steelbooks and little figures I put around. But so you still see the TV behind me. I left, you can't really see it. But I might try to change the top frequently to showcase some different kind of movies I have in my collection. But anyways, guys, until next time, thank you for watching. And